Imagine being married to someone you have never met before, someone chosen by your parents, someone you have never spoken to, someone whose face you may have seen only once or never at all. And tonight is your wedding night.
This was not a rare situation. This was not a nightmare.
For most of human history, this was simply how marriage worked. Today we are going back in time to explore what ancient wedding nights were really like, across different civilizations, across different centuries. The traditions, the rituals, the fears, and the shocking truths that history books rarely talk about. The first thing you need to understand is that ancient marriage had nothing to do with love. Marriage in the ancient world was a business transaction, a political agreement, a survival strategy. In ancient Rome, girls as young as 12 years old were considered ready for marriage. Their fathers would negotiate with another family, discussing land, money, and social status. The girl had no say. The boy often had no say either. The decision was made by the elders of the family. In ancient Egypt, marriage was slightly different. Egyptians actually valued companionship in marriage more than most ancient cultures. But even there, the wedding night came with specific rituals and expectations that had nothing to do with romance. In ancient China, the bride and groom were often strangers on their wedding night. They were brought together in a decorated room, and for the first time in their lives, they were left completely alone together. No introduction, no preparation, just two strangers suddenly expected to become husband and wife. Now let us talk about what actually happened on the wedding night across ancient civilizations. In ancient Rome, the wedding night was surrounded by a specific ritual. After the wedding ceremony, the bride was brought to the husband's home in a procession. The groom would carry the bride over the threshold of the door. This was not romantic, it was symbolic. It meant the bride was now entering the husband's world and could never leave. Inside the home, the wedding night began. But in many Roman households, the bride was not left alone with her husband. Older women, usually relatives, would stay nearby. They were there to guide the young bride and to confirm in the morning that the marriage had been properly consummated. This concept of confirming the wedding night was present in many ancient cultures. In medieval Europe, it was sometimes taken even further. In some regions, witnesses were required to be present in the room during the wedding night to legally confirm that the marriage was real and valid. Imagine that. Witnesses in the room on your wedding night. In ancient Jewish tradition, a white cloth was used during the wedding night. This cloth was carefully kept by the bride's family as proof of her purity. If the cloth showed the expected proof, the marriage was considered valid and blessed. If it did not, the consequences for the bride could be devastating. In ancient India, the wedding night was guided by specific religious texts. Young couples were given instructions on what to do and what to say. Prayers were offered. Rituals were performed. The wedding night was considered a sacred act, not just a personal moment between two people but a spiritual event witnessed by the gods themselves. In ancient China, the bride and groom would drink wine together from two cups tied by a red string. This was called the ritual of the red string, symbolizing that their lives were now permanently connected. After this ritual, they were finally left alone. But perhaps the most shocking wedding night traditions came from ancient Greece. In Sparta, the warrior civilization of ancient Greece, the wedding night was deliberately made difficult. The Spartan bride would have her head shaved and would be dressed in men's clothing. She would then be left alone in a dark room. The groom was expected to find her in the darkness after spending the evening with his fellow soldiers. This was intentional. Spartans believed that desire grows stronger when it is delayed and challenged. Making the wedding night difficult was seen as a way to strengthen the bond between husband and wife. In ancient Persia, the wedding night involved a specific feast. The bride and groom were fed particular foods believed to give them strength, fertility, and good fortune. Pomegranates, honey, and special herbs were considered essential. These foods were not just symbolic. Ancient Persians genuinely believed they had the power to bless the marriage and ensure children would come. Across almost all ancient cultures, one thing was universal. The morning after the wedding night was just as important as the night itself. Families would gather, questions would be asked, proof would be expected. The young couple's private night became a very public morning. For the bride especially, the pressure was enormous. Her entire reputation, her family's honor, and her future in the marriage depended on what happened that one single night. This is something modern people find almost impossible to understand. Today, marriage is a personal choice. The wedding night is a private moment. Nobody asks questions in the morning. But for ancient humans, nothing was truly private. Everything was communal. Everything was connected to family honor, social status, and survival. The ancient wedding night was not about romance. It was not about love. It was about duty. It was about tradition. It was about beginning a partnership that would hopefully produce children, maintain family alliances, and ensure survival in a world that was brutal and unforgiving. And yet, within all of these strange rituals and shocking traditions, there were moments of genuine human connection. Two strangers, terrified and uncertain, finding each other in the darkness, learning to trust, learning to care, sometimes, against all odds, learning to love. Could you imagine going through this tonight? Meeting a complete stranger, and by morning, being expected to be their husband or wife forever? Let me know in the the comments what you think. If you want to explore more lost and forgotten truths about how our ancestors really lived, subscribe to Mythosminder and hit the bell icon. Next time we explore another shocking truth from the ancient world. Thank you for watching. See you in the next story.